I think I have a pretty good butt. Way better than your butt.
Well, I don't even know what your butt looks like because I don't look at it.
I prefer it that way. I'm not an object.
You wish you were a fucking object.
Dude, I do wish I was an object.
Show me your ass.
Dude, men would love... Right, I'll show you my ass, but also...
Okay.
Men would love to be objects.
This is so fucking gay.
Check it.
It's not bad. I wouldn't go as far as to say you have a notably nice butt.
Well, you don't have to come out the gate with the anti-compliments, insults. I forgot what insults were.
Old Hubes, old Andrew Huberman, who
Howard
I don't
Hughes.
even listen to anymore because I got bored of just listening to fucking 4-hour podcasts about how to improve your health.
Yeah,
It'll drive you a little crazy after a while.
It can't be good for your health, listening to a 4-hour podcast about your health.
But he had one on alcohol, and he basically, claimed with evidence, as he usually does, that like alcoholics are much more likely to be the types of people that get more stimulation from alcohol.
Yes.
Because like me, aside from the fact that I don't like to be dependent on drugs or whatever, one of the reasons why I don't think I could ever... alcohol wouldn't be my drug of abuse of choices. It just wipes me out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like that. Like, I can have 1 or 2 drinks and I'm having a fun time. Drink 3, drink 4, it makes me so fucking sleepy, man.
Well, dopamine drugs tend to be the most addictive, I think. Because, that's why crack is so addictive.
You can keep going and it's more functional.
It's all about the fast onset, and dopamine is just, in your brain, it is the reward receptor.
That makes sense.
Opioids are largely addictive because the opioid receptor being triggered more releases a downstream effect, or it causes a downstream effect that results in dopamine releasing. So that's part of why opioids are very addictive and feel very rewarding.
Got you.
But the shorter onset, the quicker an onset of a drug, and the more it hits dopamine, it tends to be that's the more addictive drug.
Some of opium being addictive is also probably just how wonderful it fucking feels.
Absolutely.
And
but
the comfort it brings people.
Yeah, part of that's because of the reward system.
Right. Because are you saying that all opioids trigger dopamine release to some degree? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's a lot of the effects of opioids, is that they hit mu opioid receptors, which part of what that does is it has an effect that releases dopamine.
So they all then they have some degree of stimulation.
Yes, as weed does too. When you smoke weed, it relaxes you, it makes you high, and then that causes a dopamine release because you feel better typically.
What about heroin? Is even heroin any stimulating?
It's not stimulating, but it releases dopamine.
Right.
The sedation is so much stronger
that it just overpowers.
Yeah. Which tends to be how it is. Any amount of sedation, when it gets strong enough, will largely overpower a slightly lesser dopaminergic response.
Right. But yeah, I feel like I've met a lot of people who are like me with alcohol, where it's just like...
Just makes you tired.
You can't keep going and going.
Yeah.
But then there are other people I know where it's like they'll be throwing back drinks and they'll just dance for 5 straight hours.
Well, this is part of why I think I'm more that way now than I used to be. Because when I first drank, I would get on my ass drinking. It would really hit me hard.
Right.
Before I ever did drugs. But having done drugs, I've desensitized both dopamine and NMDA and GABA. So it's
specific types of drugs, we should say.
Exactly. Right. By using Xanax and Klonopin, I've desensitized GABA. By using ketamine and 3-MeO-PCP, I've desensitized NMDA. By using Coke and Adderall, I've desensitized dopamine. That being said, NMDA tolerance lasts years.
Wow, that's interesting.
GABA tolerance often lasts years.
Especially if you abuse it.
Yes, and it has the kindling effect where if you've had withdrawals from it before and been very addicted to Xanax, and you quit for years and you come back and do Xanax for a week in excess, shorter than it would take a novice to have withdrawals, it will cause withdrawals because of a kindling effect, because you're already halfway there from your previous abuse.
Halfway there, whoa! Oh, kindling effect.
Seizing on Xanax.
Interesting.
So my GABA and NMDA receptors are still desensitized from drug abuse years ago. Dopamine,
I feel
however, is reset a little bit more.
I was gonna say, yeah, I feel like even Adderall or coke abuse wouldn't necessarily, if you went like years without it, then you could feel it pretty strongly again.
Yeah, any dopamine thing will reset pretty quick. Weed resets usually within a month or two. And opioids reset pretty quick. A week to a month, something like that.
This is an interesting question that I've been wondering, which is that whenever psychiatrists and stuff talk about the severity of withdrawals, they usually say some of it depends on the amount of the drug that you've been doing.
Yes.
So they'll be like, oh, if you were on a high dose of a benzo or something like that, then it's going to be harder to get off of it.
Yeah.
Or the withdrawals could be more severe if you don't do a long taper.
Yeah.
I wonder if it has more to do with just the literal milligram dosage, or if it has to do with the severity of the effect that it was having on
how
you.
sensitive you are.
Right.
It's part of it. It's mostly about that. It's
Right.
mostly how much does it change your natural levels.
Because I've always, I'm super sensitive to benzos.
Yeah.
I'm super sensitive to most drugs for whatever reason. I don't know. I mean, I'm on the lighter side for a guy, but I'm not super duper light. I'm 158 pounds.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's as much of a weight thing as it is. Maybe it's a metabolism thing.
Yeah.
Maybe drugs just get through my system quickly,
Well,
so it
also,
all hits me at once.
A lot of people, they say, oh, this much Klonopin has this effect on me.
Right.
Most people drink. You don't drink much. So
That's
they're probably more desensitized to GABA than you are.
I have noticed it with all drugs, though. Like a 10 milligram weed edible will send me into space.
But that's most people. That's very common.
Okay.
I know
maybe
a lot
most
of people,
novices at least.
Yeah, if you're not smoking every day or especially all day every day, I know a lot of guys who they not only feel, but 5 milligrams is even too much sometimes.
Yeah, if you're really not used to the feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I can feel 5 milligrams kinda. Even smoke, if I smoke once a day, I can kind of feel 5. But I usually take 2 to 500.
Right. As a sense of scale.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're on the opposite end of the spectrum.
With almost everything. But I've always
autism, homosexuality.
Well, maybe just these things.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I get prescribed Klonopin for anxiety, and will use it as needed if I'm having a particularly challenging time or something like that. And the lowest dose I think you can get prescribed is 0.5, so half of a milligram.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even feel that dose at all. I can feel half of that dose, really notably.
When I first started, that would be enough to calm down a panic attack for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've often felt like, I only take 0.25 milligrams. Like if I ever had to get off of it, I could probably get off of it no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if it doesn't matter that I'm on that low of a dose. It's more the fact that it is having a very strong anxiolytic effect on me.
Yeah.
That it would be equally hard to get off of as somebody who say takes 2 milligrams a day, but they don't feel it that much.
Yeah, maybe for some drugs, I don't think Klonopin specifically, just because when the effect of GABA is that it dulls every response in your body pretty much.
Right.
So it's how much it dulls your anxiety isn't necessarily representative of how much it's dulling the rest of your body. So it could be that somebody taking 2 milligrams is having the rest of their body extremely dulled, but only the anxiety dulled a little bit.
And by dulled, you mean this isn't a scientific term, but desensitizing your nervous system or something like that.
The scientific term is it's inhibitory.
Right.
So it inhibits your body reacting to things. So say somebody startles you, but you're on 2 milligrams of Xanax, you're going to have a very slow reaction to that if you react at all.
Right.
Whereas somebody would normally be startled. But then when you come off it because of that, your body has been so inhibited and been forced not to respond, like you have a wet blanket on you, that suddenly it's not only like you don't have the wet blanket anymore, it's like somebody's thrown a little bit of napalm on you, and you're suddenly way more excitatory.
Right.
So if someone tries to startle you, you have a fucking panic attack.
Right. I wonder what the legality of driving is with regard to benzos.
I wonder with all prescription medication, it's crazy that it doesn't seem to be a problem.
Yeah.
Like, I've been prescribed 20 milligrams of Oxy at a time. They never said a goddamn thing.
About driving.
I was a teenager, so I
Right.
probably wasn't going to drive, but they don't know.
Yeah.
I might have not remembered because I was on Oxy.
Because it cannot be safe to drive barred out.
No, dude, it's so dangerous. It's as
It's a
bad
lot
as
like
drunk
alcohol.
driving. It's
Yeah.
just as bad.
Right.
And a lot of people do a lot of dumb shit. People rob stores all the time when they do bars. They call it being bar-tarded. And you'll see people on the Reddit drug forum. This is one of the most common posts I always saw on there. Was people being like, I took 5 bars and I'm not even feeling it, but like just jumble all the letters together and that's the post title. But like you read it 5 times, you're like, oh, I get what they're trying to say.
Right.
And then they're like, I don't feel it. And then all the comments are like, you're high. And they're like, no, I'm not. I'm sober. And it's like, you're not. Go to bed.
Wow. You're so high that you don't know that you're high.
Yeah, and that's the
That's
weird
scary.
thing about like benzos is, and just GABA, like solely GABA drugs, is they don't really make you feel high. They make you feel sedated and relaxed. But sometimes you're so, like, it's not like being drunk where you're also like, wow, I feel good all of a sudden, and I feel
I think
tipsy.
I think that they definitely can make you feel high in a way,
Yeah.
particularly at higher doses, but they don't make you feel up.
Yes,
They're not stimulating at
and
all.
they don't release this heavy like reward feeling like even opioids do.
Right.
So it just leaves you with this sense of like, oh, I'm very calm, but I don't feel like high.
There's a little bit of a euphoria that just comes from being so calm,
Yeah.
being so relaxed, like getting a massage or something.
Yeah, and I think it's similar to how some people will be like, oh, I got prescribed Adderall and I take 5 milligrams every day, but I never feel high. It's like, yeah, nobody feels high at that dose. You feel focused, and that is the high.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, you feel anxiety-free on Klonopin. That's the high.
In a way, yeah.
And if you take enough of it, you feel so anxiety-free, but also your brain is now retardified. So you're like, I forget that I felt different before I took this and all that.
I guess just being retarded is its own high then.
Yeah, it's like kind of like
Yeah.
Xanax from what I hear.
Retarded people are just high all the time. So-
they're all barred
I
out.
love being retarded.
Give me more
Yeah.
Klonopin.
Can you imagine how blissful Klonopin would feel to a retarded person?
Oh man, I'm sure they don't have any anxiety to start with.
I know. So yeah, they might just fall asleep instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
They
just
might be like, oh,
insta OD on it.
if I knew what worries
Yeah.
were, I wouldn't have them. But
Imagine if you were retarded, but you also had like panic disorder or something. How terrifying that
God.
would be.
Yeah. I saw that. It's gonna kill me.
They just talk faster for no reason. Yeah, that's it.
This marker is green and it's gonna kill me.
Because if you're retarded and really emotionally sensitive, you're just going to be getting triggered constantly. 'Cause
Yeah.
You don't, like, the world is just moving faster than you.
Yeah,
You
and
can't keep
none of
up
the
with-
triggers are gonna make sense. It's
Right.
like, bananas.
Right.
And then a guy dressed as a banana comes in. I don't like that man.
Yeah. Damn, dude. Yeah.
A couple benzos did feel notably euphoric, but not many. Klonopin, notoriously, it feels like anxiety medicine.
Damn. I think I'm just so anxious naturally
Yeah.
that the absence of anxiety feels like I'm in heaven.
God damn,
This
dude.
is what life is like.
'Cause
when
I
you're
always
not
felt like-
terrified all the time.
I always felt Klonopin was like the most neutral benzo. It felt like it just kind of got rid of my anxiety and it made me feel a little chill. But that's it.
It's the only one I've ever done. So
Well, that's
I don't really have
probably
a
why.
reference point.
Yeah, man. I mean, some of these other ones, they really make you feel good. Like, Valium was my favorite.
Right.
And if you take like 4 Valiums, you're just like, it lasts, the half-life is like 120 hours. So it takes like
Damn,
3
dude.
weeks to get out of your system from one dose. But it feels like if you just take like a couple of them, you just feel in like that same anxiety-free heaven, but with like, it's an old drug. So it has some of the old drug, like, oh, we're accidentally making you feel good shit.
Right.
It's like a very dirty drug. When you take it, it turns into like 6 different benzos in your body.
Right.
And they just combine to give you this really nice body high and sense of like not only anxiety relief, but like, oh, it's kind of a perfect day.
The old drugs are hilarious. Like
Yeah.
tricyclic antidepressant stuff. It's just like, we're going to make your
Crazy.
brain do shit. And I hope it helps.
Dude,
Yeah.
some of the some psychedelics were originally considered as like antidepressants or various pharmaceutical uses because they're like, you develop a drug, you want to sell it.
Right.
So like they developed AMT, which is like DMT, but it's alpha methyltryptamine instead of dimethyltryptamine.
I take alpha methyltryptamine, bro.
And I want you to die
Psychedelics for alpha males only. That's what Joe Rogan takes.
It's crazy though. DMT is like one of the most safe psychedelics. It's probably produced in the human body, so it's like normal for us to consume it. AMT is a psychedelic, an MAOI, which is like it shuts off an enzyme in your liver that breaks down most drugs. So by shutting it off, you make them like way stronger.
So that would make it even more psychedelic.
Yeah, like if you took way more. And it also releases dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. So, but like MAOIs with psychedelics make them stronger.
Right.
MAOIs with dopamine and serotonin can launch, well, serotonin especially, can launch you into serotonin syndrome real easy. Like, really easy.
Right.
And so it's like if you take below 40 milligrams of AMT, not advice, just what I've read, I have no idea. If you take like below 40 milligrams, they say it's like, people described it as the Rolls Royce of psychedelics back in the 60s. They loved this shit.
What a fucking funny phrase. Yeah.
They say it feels like Coke and Molly and acid at the same time. It's
That
crazy.
is really saying. Rolls Royce is a sick fucking car.
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
I'm not even a car guy. I don't give a fuck about cars. And if I see a Rolls Royce, I'm like, that's a fucking Rolls Royce.
Yeah, dude.
That's kind of sick.
It's very tempting to take it, but I get so worried, dude, because I'm like, I know it says you have to take this much to have the MAOI effect, but we barely researched most of these drugs that aren't like acid. Like
Right.
any psychedelic that's not in the mainstream is not well researched for the most part. And so
Right.
it's like this one, we know it has dangerous aspects. We think it's likely they only happen at this level because that's the only time they've ever happened clinically.
Right.
Or like in clinical cases where people have gone to the hospital. So it's like you should be able to do 10 milligrams and be fine and have like a light empathogen, like MDMA like feeling with a little bit of psychedelia and more energy.
In the comments, comment if you've done AMT.
And let me know if I
Yeah.
should be as scared as I am because I really want to try it.
If you're on the shroomery, we would love to know.
Yeah, if you're the guy, I'm not going to say that actually.
Yeah.
If you're the guy I once got it from,
Yeah, if
say
you're the
hi.
guy who boofs mescaline and ketamine and heroin simultaneously.
I boof cactus.
Yeah.
Oh,
Only.
but my point was originally it was used as an antidepressant. It was prescribed at like
I
2
bet
po-
it fucking worked, dog.
They said it worked pretty good. It was
Yeah.
kind of like a tricyclic, I think.
Right.
Because it's a triple releaser MAOI inhibitor.
I bet
or
that
MAO
shit would
inhibitor.
help me way more than Prestique is helping me right now.
Probably.
Just getting fucking tripping balls with norepinephrine and serotonin.
Yeah. And 2CB was also going to be like used as an aphrodisiac, and I think it was prescribed as such for a little while.
Yeah. So I'm assuming you've probably taken high doses of Klonopin before.
Up to 2 milligrams.
Okay, maybe you just have to take more. Because for me, it doesn't start to feel really euphoric until I take. For me, the most I ever took was 2
Okay. 2 milligrams?
milligrams.
Okay.
And that's like, for someone as sensitive as me, I was gone, dude.
Oh yeah, that's strong, and I'm sure it is euphoric
It
at
felt
a certain level.
extremely euphoric, and then I fell asleep shortly
Yeah.
there afterwards. You know?
I mean, I'm sure it can be, but it's like the fact that, like, at some, like 1 milligram of Klonopin compared to 1 milligram of Xanax, Xanax feels way stronger.
Yeah,
I've
I've heard.
I once categorized, I still have these in my notes on my laptop. I categorized every benzo I've tried in terms of how strong the mind high is and how strong the body high is. And it was like, I think I put Klonopin as a medium body high, medium mind high. Xanax was a strong mind high, medium body high.
This is very scientific.
It was very
Yeah.
sciencey. And it was like
There's a reason why there's no rapper named Lil Klon. You know?
we did
And
have
if so,
Lil
they're
Xan.
probably a Filipino or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Good point. I didn't get the joke. They
But,
should have Lil Ativan because that's apparently the weakest.
Lil Ativan.
Yeah, just some pussy kid.
Right, yeah. That would make sense. Yeah, man. What even happened? Is Lil Xan one of the ones that died?
Maybe I can't keep track of all these
Yeah,
little guys dying.
Can't keep track of these emo suicidal rappers.
No, but I think 5 of them count as 3 people or something like that.
That's rapper math.
Yeah, and also little.
Right.
And the 3/5 compromise is the joke I was going for,
who's
but
the one that? Yeah, they all got that.
I was trying to pass it
soft
off as if it's a
applause.
midget
Yeah,
joke.
Right.
My craft is rusty. I've been drinking too much rum.
No, I know. We drank a little too much rum before this podcast.
Yeah,
I'm
we were
still
sipping.
mildly buzzed and not functioning at top speed.
The scotch got me. I tried that scotch you brought. What was the name again?
Ben, I don't know how you never
Ben
know how
Wobbles?
Scotch is pronounced. It's pronounced like Ben Riach or something like
Ben
that.
Barry, Ben Boss.
Ben Riach, 12 year aged.
Did you hear about Bill Burr doing Glengarry Glen Ross on Broadway?
I did. Yeah.
Have you thought about? I've thought about seeing it, but it's not worth the money. I don't have that kind of fucking money.
The movie's so fucking good.
I've never seen it. I've never seen
Really?
any Glengarry Glen Ross, but I've heard great
Oh,
things.
fuck the play, see the movie.
Really?
That's the thing. The movie's so good, I don't see how the play could hold a candle to it.
But it has Bob Odenkirk and
Kieran Culkin.
Kieran Culkin.
Who cares? Bob Odenkirk's never been a great actor.
Kieran Culkin
He's a
sounds
great
like
comedian.
a scotch.
It does.
Oh, I'm gonna have some Kieran Culkin.
Yeah, Kieran Culkin, 12 year.
They're like, oh, your scotch sucks. I prefer whiskey. Bob Odenkirk,
Right.
whiskey.
Bob Odenkirk sounds like a cheap. That with Evan Williams.
The unalive yourself of
the unalived
whiskey.
tier, right below bottom shelf.
You drink it off the floor.
I mean, Kieran Culkin. I didn't see the movie he was in.
What movie?
The one. Well, he won Best Supporting Actor for some.
Porn?
It was a fucking Jesse Eisenberg movie about like 2 Jewish friends that go to visit the fucking Auschwitz and shit. Doesn't this
Nice.
sound great?
I thought we had this idea. Do Molly at Auschwitz.
Yeah, dude. They stole my script.
They stole our script but took out the Molly part.
Oh, gee, we're in Auschwitz. This is so fun.
I hope nobody slips something in my matzo ball
Yeah.
soup.
Oh my gosh. I'm channeling my grandmother.
Ari Shafir put Molly in my matzo ball soup.
But no, he's a good actor, I'm sure.
I'm
But
sure.
Bill Burr, I mean, yeah, it'd be fun to see. I mean, I've never
It would.
seen Burr do stand up, but like, dude, the movie is one of the best ensemble acting acting casts of all time. It's an old Jack Lemmon, and he's amazing.
I do love me some Jack Lemmon.
Al Pacino, Kevin Spacey, Alec Baldwin, and they just crush their roles. Crush their roles. And of course, David Mamet's script. I mean, it's just a great script overall. But
Woolly
yeah,
Mammoth.
I feel like this cast could not conceivably hold a candle to the movie.
I can't imagine. It would be cool to see Bill do stand-up, though. He's been running shit at comedy clubs in New York.
Oh,
I had a friend almost bark him in to do a spot at St. Mark's Comedy Club.
he has really seized the moment politically. Like, there's not a lot of comics that have been willing to lean in, like aggressively lean into. Well, I guess there have been a lot of comics on the right who've become very political.
Yes.
But there have not been a lot of comics with like a strong liberal voice. And Bill Burr,
What
I
about
never
Hannah
thought of that.
Gadsby?
You're right. What about Tig Notaro? I never pegged Bill Burr as a real lefty.
I mean, I don't think he is a lefty.
I think he's become one.
He is definitely a lefty, but also like he's pretty well rounded.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, anybody who's like a nuanced thinker who does their research is not going to come off as just some tribal dumbass.
Yeah.
And Burr, yeah, absolutely. Like, he gets it.
Yeah.
But he definitely leans left. Like, in America has become so skewed right to the point where, like, Donald Trump's president,
Yeah.
and your average American is way more scared of communism than they are of fascism.
Yeah.
Which both are very scary for different reasons. But, like, people with fascist sympathies are in office.
Yeah.
People with communist sympathies, like, even the Democratic Party doesn't want anything to do with them.
Yeah.
Like, people act like Bernie Sanders is Fidel Castro. And
Yeah.
It's like not even close.
Yeah.
Like, Bernie Sanders is like a fucking, he's arguing for, like, Denmark's policies essentially. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But in the American political landscape, Burr is like way on the left right now.
Yeah.
You know what
I
I
mean,
mean?
compared to what the right is now, I think most people who were on the right aren't that
Which
much
is
on
just
the
interesting. Of all people in comedy who you'd think would maybe have that kind of a moment, whether it be Louis or Chappelle, or, like, for Burr to become the dude just, like, grilling Trumpers on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It's
But
not
he's
as
good
if
at
he's
it.
only grilling Trumpers, though. He's also grilling the left.
I think he has a way bigger issue with the right.
Yeah,
though, for
probably.
sure. Yeah, I mean, at least.
But he keeps it pretty fair.
No, I think he keeps it fair, but I mean, I think that's just that's just where his sympathies lie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially lately, because, you know, obviously Trump is, like, in the news and America's going through a really unstable period. He's just been, like, very vocally anti-Trump regime.
Yeah. So is Joe List, but I don't see anybody talking about him.
Except us.
I wish they
We
would.
see
Joe
you,
List
Joe.
is probably my favorite. I hate to say up and coming because he's been doing it for like 20 years, but he's my favorite comic below, like, the Bill Burr, Louis C.K. class.
In terms of fame.
Yes, in terms of fame and, like, time at which they succeeded.
Right.
It's like Joe List
Tim
is probably
Dillon.
Tim Dillon I love, but as far as stand-ups specifically, I think Joe List is my favorite.
Yeah, I got to check out more of his shit, man.
Dude, I had tickets to go see his show at Sesh Comedy Club. I would have seen Tim Dillon there too. He did a set.
Are you serious?
But I didn't go when I had the ticket because I got offered a spot at a competition show by a friend, and
Fatal mistake.
I had to go. I was like, Joe List runs a show every month, but I thought Louis might have dropped in, so I was really pissed.
Right.
But I was like, I do have to take. The show has to be a priority, my own show.
I saw Tim Dillon at the Capitol Theater in Portchester, which is one of the best music venues in the country.
Yeah, the Dark Star Orchestra does big stays there every New Year's.
Jerry Garcia's two favorite places to play were the Fillmore West and the Capitol Theater, of all places.
I had no idea.
And when you walk in the Capitol Theater, the wallpaper, it looks like it's just this weird geometric design. But
Yeah.
if you look really closely, it's little miniature Jerry Garcias.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They are like the home of the Grateful Dead.
I have a tie-dye shirt it was like tied in a way that creates a black outline of Jerry Garcia's face in the middle.
That's cool.
And then it has like color coming out of it.
But no, Tim Dillon performed there, and I saw him because my mom, now of all people, is a big Tim Dillon fan.
Hilarious.
She likes people who tells it like it is.
Yeah, she likes being told what she is.
Yeah, she likes being rallied by fat gay men.
Yeah.
Sassy big people.
Yeah. That's how you disappointed her. You weren't a fat gay guy.
Yeah, she'd love me a lot more if I was.
Yeah.
No question about it. But no, he crushed. He was absolutely hysterical.
Yeah.
And he's coming out with a comedy special.
Yeah, very soon.
Yeah, in the next couple of weeks. And I'm really eager to see if he can
It might be out by the time this comes out.
replicate that same energy.
Yeah.
You know, on camera as he did, just like, because a lot of it was riffing and crowd work and stuff, like he would do, but some great jokes.
Yeah, and he might have some of that in the special too.
And he hasn't even been doing stand up that long. He's one of those people. He had a relatively quick ascent.
It's like 10 years.
He's kind of like a Gillis.
Has it been 10 years or 12 years maybe?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But it's like, how many of those years was he taking it completely seriously?
Yeah. He said he had
know.
I was listening to his podcast. He said he had a 10-year career where he made no money. And then so I guess 15 years, 5 years or
Right.
so he's been making money.
Right. But his first Netflix special, as funny as I think Tim Dillon's one of the funniest guys on the planet.
Absolutely.
Just like in terms of how quick-witted he is and, just on the day-to-day. You put him in a room with other great comics and they'll all be just laughing their asses off at how funny he is.
Yeah.
But his first Netflix special, I thought, was not that great, considering how funny he is. But
I don't think I ever saw it, but that's generally what I've heard. But I've heard he's gotten so much better.
That's the thing. He seemed very nervous. He seemed, maybe he was inexperienced in those types of settings. Maybe he didn't really have a tight hour.
Yeah.
Who knows? But he crushed at the Capitol Theater.
Man.
And he seemed very seasoned, so eager to see how that special turns out.
Yeah, dude, that's so interesting. He's one of the guys, there is a handful of guys who I love who I've never had a chance to see, and he's definitely up there.
Yeah. A lot of them are dead, unfortunately.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
But even like Nick Mullen, I'd love to see. Never seen him.
Nick Mullen would be cool.
I almost saw a show with him and Adam Friedland, I think in Adam Friedland's apartment. Or some shit like it was in someone's apartment.
That's so weird, dude.
And it was like Adam Friedland put on the show.
They better have a fucking security guard.
Yeah,
that's
really.
all I'm saying.
My friend Elvis went.
Can you imagine? Shout out to Elvis. Can you imagine fucking you're like famous, and you're putting on shows in your apartment?
Yeah.
Like, you either need a security or a Rottweiler or something.
I mean, look at Stanhope, though. He, like, puts his address on the internet. He, like, set it on Rogan.
Yeah, but he's suicidal.
Yeah, it's a good point.
He's out of his mind.
Yeah.
Love Doug Stanhope.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think I would be a very paranoid famous person. If I ever was famous.
I think I would be, too.
I'm like, I mean, first of all, I literally have OCD.
Yeah.
But yeah, people are just fucking weird, man.
It's true.
But I've seen people do weird shit, with celebrities.
Yeah,
celebrity
like
stalkers and stuff.
Seeing people kiss another guy. Fucking creep.
That's where you draw the line.
It's fucking weirdo. Guys kissing
Elton
guys.
John, dude. Whoa. That's crazy, man.
I thought he was just glamorous. I didn't know he was queer.
Have you heard that there are men who like to have sex with other men?
La 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 la.
Dude.
Sorry, I was doing my Middle Eastern.
La, 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 la. Nick has gay OCD.
I do.
So this is just a hard projection on his part.
I just got rid of the bit too. I no longer feel like I have it. I mean, I sometimes do, but I don't often feel like I have it.
You know what they say about OCD?
It's
it
gay.
Never goes away.
It's gay.
It is pretty gay to have OCD.
I don't think OCD doesn't go away, but I do think the target of it does. It's always a moving target.
So you feel like you're no longer. I mean, you weren't. I guess kind of the essence of having homosexual OCD is not wanting to be gay, right?
I think it is based in homophobia.
Right.
Yeah, I do think so.
Because I've never had, despite having OCD, I've never had homosexual OCD because I don't think I'd give a flying fuck if I was gay.
Yeah, I don't truly, but I grew up in this is how the bit was going before I got rid of it because I just don't relate to it anymore. But I did grow up in we grew up in a homophobic culture.
Right. Well, you grew up kind of religious.
Yeah, but that wasn't even it. It was like I grew up around Irish, Italian, and black kids.
Like your school because your parents aren't homophobic.
No, but they also never talked to me about fucking anything. So
right,
it's like I learned it from the Irish and Italian and black kids.
Right,
who I was hanging out with all the time.
Homophobic.
It's just the culture, dude. It's fucking like, what do you expect from a working class, middle class culture?
Right. No, I grew up in a very similar culture. But
yeah, you go to public school. Everybody's like, you're making fun of your friends.
Oh yeah,
they're gay.
Nobody wants to be gay.
You eat a hot dog, you're like, ha ha, fucking fag.
I'm sure it's better, a little bit better now.
Yeah,
because
they're like, oh, it's cool to be gay.
Now you don't want to be trans.
Yeah, you don't want to be straight. You're like, no, I'm gay. I swear I'm gay.
I love cock, I swear. Yeah.
Pussy, ew.
Yeah. You're completely straight, just pretending to be gay.
Yeah,
so,
you go home and you're like,
yeah.
Finally I could take off my poster of David Hasselhoff.
This faggot likes pussy. What's wrong with him? Yeah. It's crazy.
This guy doesn't even fuck boys.
Just some buff black kid saying that to you.
Dude, I heard he got fingered behind the gym. He fingered him behind the gym.
Oh, gay fingering?
Dude,
I've never heard of such a thing.
There is something, the phrase, he got fingered is really gross.
Freddie got fingered.
That's a classic
Yeah.
movie. Great
Classic.
movie, dude.
It is a good movie.
I was shocked at how funny it was.
Yeah.
It's also really egregious.
There are parts of it that are hilariously bad, like you're laughing at it, not with it.
Yeah,
But
and
other
there are
parts that
parts-
are pretty funny.
The horse cock jerking off was a bit much.
Yeah.
That triggered my gay
It
OCD.
was funny, though.
I was like, yeah, I bet you like that horse cock. And I was like, I don't like horse cock. I'm not gay.
But you've transcended your gay OCD.
I think so. I think I'm...
Yeah. You're totally down to potentially be gay now.
Nope. I've been...
I tried to make myself gay. That's how much I don't have internalized homophobia.
That's pretty gay.
It is pretty gay.
But
But unfortunately, it didn't work. Well, I'm just not into it, man. I tried to put myself in that state. I was like, why do women find men so attractive? Could I like
I mean, I get it.
an
but-
acquired taste? I was like, I used to hate Scotch. Now I love Scotch.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll love a man with a big hairy chest someday. And
Yeah,
I
you
was
should
like,
just try fucking a few guys. But Scotch could take a
Disgusting.
while, so it's like you fuck 5, 6 guys, and then you're like, oh, maybe the next one, though.
I don't think sexuality works like taste buds, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'd be a lot easier. But no, I just think I'm not. It's
Maybe
just
they just weren't your type.
it's the physicality with men. I've had really close male friendships. Where there was like you felt there's like a real kinship there, and it was like not you because you're not that feminine.
I thought you were going to say pretty.
No. That would be so much more mean. Yeah. Yeah.
Not you, because you're not attractive enough for me.
I love how this podcast started with me like gazing at your ass and grading it. And now I'm like,
At least that part wasn't audio.
no, I've met some like flaming gay Twinkie kind of guys, and I've been like, wow, you have like real feminine energy.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I could, if I could put your personality in a woman's body, like I might be able to date somebody like that. But
Don't
it's
you
the
think they have-
it's the looks.
But don't you think they'd have a feminine personality, too?
Who?
The guy who's acting feminine?
The gay guy?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying
Put their personality in a prettier guy?
in a woman.
Oh, in a woman.
Because
But that's a woman's personality.
the physicality is the problem, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying I can't date a guy because I'm so unattracted to the male
guys.
physique.
Yeah.
And that, unfortunately, you just can't get past that.
Well, this is why I've had this argument with a close friend of mine. I've had an argument with a close comic friend who he likes trans girls,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, I'm not gonna do it, and he's like, come on, dude, why wouldn't you just fuck a trans girl? And I'm like, 'cause of the cock, dude. And he's like,
That's
it's
a
just
big-
a cock.
That's a big debate for sure.
Yeah, and he's like, whatever, dude, it's just a cock. Get over it. And I'm like,
yeah.
that's a lot to get over.
I have a trans friend who tried to talk me into that recently too.
Yeah.
They were like, why aren't you into trans girls? I'm like,
Because
I'm
of the cock.
straight.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking
Yeah, exactly.
about? But that's
Why aren't you
considered-
into being a guy?
That's considered very transphobic by a lot of people.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of people would say because a trans woman is a woman, and I believe that for all intents and purposes, but physically,
Yeah.
there are important distinctions.
I wouldn't be with a woman, a biological woman
Who had a cock. Yeah.
If
is
I was
what it
dating
is.
a girl and she went out and got a cock, I wouldn't keep fucking her.
If she grew a cock.
Yeah, if she went to the cock store.
Or she was one of those like I don't know whether hermaphrodite is a slur, but you know, people who are born
It's
with
not.
like a cock and a vagina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just the term.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're a guy who
I call it a double whammy.
if you're a guy who fucks trans girls and you identify as straight, I don't have a problem with that because they have their essence is feminine. But
I don't have a problem with it, but it's
I'm
not straight.
I'm a straight guy, and it's just a bridge too far.
Dude, fucking a trans girl is straight like Greek people are white.
That's your new opener. Yeah.
Don't even get me
Say it
started
at
on
the tiny
Italians.
cupboard. Yeah. Like Greek people are white.
Yeah, you think olive is white?
Not really.
I mean, even fucking France is pushing it.
That reminds me of like really old Italian people sometimes. I've heard multiple people, which is
Hey, I could say the N-word.
it's a hilarious hill to die on to be like, we didn't used to be considered white. You know, we're not really white. And it's
I'm like,
yeah,
I
you
agree.
are. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, it's like Jewish people who are like, oh, we're not white, we're Jewish.
Yeah.
And it's like,
You're the whitest people on earth.
yeah,
Okay.
you're almost as white as Asians.
Unless the true whites.
True white people.
We might as well be black compared to Asians.
Yeah, because we all know that, like, white, in the concept of white, it means, like, the most advanced. So it's like, clearly it's the Asians.
Sure, we all know that. Yeah.
This is just
That's
a
not
premise.
This is
a premise we can all get behind. So
Right.
whites are on top. That means that Asians are white.
I don't know if I'd say advanced.
I mean, just in terms of, like, skull size.
Just in terms of skull science.
Yeah, skull size and shape.
According to skull science,
If you, like, look at the trajectory of the jaw toward the neck.
it's Asians and then white people, Hispanics. Blah, blah, blah. No, I think
I like
white.
that you only went blah, blah, blah for the last race.
There are other
Asians,
races.
whites, Hispanics, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. No, there are more races than people think. Just like there are more liquors than people think.
Is the Grand Prix?
It's not just gin, whiskey, right? It's, you have your liqueurs and you have Aborigines.
Yeah,
and you have
You got true whites, you got fake whites.
Native Americans, a bunch of people who identify as their own thing.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm like white, but I got a black cock.
Do you really?
No. But that's
But
like
you wish.
that's the kind of trans I want to be.
Just trans cock.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
not even full transracial. Like I'm not trying to be a woman.
I'm cis, but my cock is trans.
I just want the bottom surgery.
Right.
What if my legs were black and my whole upper body was white?
Everything else.
My
Your
legs
feet
are
are white
pitch
too.
black.
Yeah. Just black legs.
Up until like my fucking cock, which is just also white.
That would be funny if mixed race people, instead of being like blended skin,
Like
they just
spots.
half of them were white and the other they're like a centaur.
Isn't that disease that's now really popular to talk about in culture and shit? Like
Vitiligo.
yeah, vitiligo.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like some Call of Duty character who has it now.
That's so dumb. Dude.
Yeah, very stupid. Very stupid.
What are we gonna represent everybody?
Yeah, exactly. It would be
My
so
Call of Duty character has no neck. He has no eyes.
Next, we're gonna have a trans Call of Duty character.
A trans species. Some guy who thinks he's a cat.
Yeah, exactly. You just get a furry.
Yeah. Furry skins.
Dude, I ran into a girl on Hinge that was like, "I like furries" for the first time, and I was like, "Whoa."
Usually it's the other way around.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
It was weird.
A woman who prefers furries.
So I was like, "Hey, I'll take it." I've always thought the foxtail butt plug is kind of nice.
You might be a furry, bro.
I don't want the whole suit. It's just like any butt plug.
You
is
just
kinda
like
cool.
holding on to that tail.
It's
from
not bad.
behind.
It's almost like
I think I wouldn't be down for it.
it's like furry anal beads that don't go all the way in.
I don't like anal beads either, dude.
Don't knock it till you try
You're
it.
way more of a freak than me.
You haven't even tried.
I think you kind of know. That's like saying you haven't even tried gay sex.
You haven't.
I
keep telling you.
You go from homosexual OCD to homosexual fundamentalist.
Now I'm
Yeah.
just, it's the opposite kind of homosexual OCD. I'm
Yeah.
obsessed with homosexuality.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, God.
I can't stop watching Will and Grace.
I need
It's
to-
so good.
I need to try every kind of cock so I know that
Yeah.
if I want a cock in a certain occasion, what kind I want.
Right. Which shape fits in my throat best? Judas Priest is my favorite band.
I need a black one that's 9 inches in my ass and an
Yeah.
Asian one that's 0.5 inches in my mouth.
How dare you? How
It's
dare
because
you?
they're advanced, dude. They're going to reproduce asexually
This might
soon.
be our most problematic podcast yet.
Well, you know, it's the
That'd
best advertising. Come to see me
Yeah.
do stand-up comedy. It'll be a lot of this and very little anything else.
Yeah. Do you have that like Dropbox thing still on your Instagram where it's like tell me where to perform?
I do, yeah.
Do you get like suggestions?
I got a couple guys from New Zealand.
Dude.
Yeah. Dude,
Couple is really all you need.
It's interesting because my demographics are largely, it's almost like even splits on some of my stuff, at least, between United States, Canada, England, and Australia.
I thought you were going to say men and women for a second. I was like,
Not
no
even
way.
close.
It's all women.
I wish.
Yeah.
No, I do not wish.
Yeah.
I would so much rather have an all-male audience.
Well, you get way more pussy, but your comedy would be way worse.
And if it is a step, I don't care about pussy anymore. I'm an enlightened being. I'm Asian now. That's the other thing.
graduated.
Asians don't care about pussy anymore. They don't fuck. They don't have kids.
That's just
they're
the
advanced.
Japanese.
Well,
the Thais are probably getting
well,
down.
they're the best Asians. The Japanese, they're the most advanced Asians.
South Koreans are really neck and neck.
They give 'em a
these
run for
days.
their money.
They really do. And the Chinese, the Chinese are the Chinese.
Yeah, North
They do
Chinese,
what they do.
North Chinese are pretty baller.
Right.
Taiwan's pretty baller.
Vietnam's catching up too, man.
They're
I
not
mean,
bad.
East Asia in general,
tried to
they're kind
stop
of killing
that.
it these days.
We tried to stop that progression.
We've tried to stop a lot. Dude, I don't know how I'm not saying you and I, because we're not racist or speciest or culturally, we're not.
And you heard it from him, folks.
Yeah. So it must be true.
Yeah, I'm not saying this about myself for the first
But
time.
America, and especially a lot of nationalists and stuff, they had every incentive in the world to not let China become a superpower.
Seems like it was probably a good idea.
How did we not just keep them under our thumb forever?
Under my thumb, the Chinese.
Yeah. Just Mick Jagger with his thumb over Mao.
You can't
yeah.
make microchips.
How, dude? China at one point in time, the Chinese were ancient, very advanced civilization.
Quinoa.
The Chinese were doing crazy shit at the same time as the Romans were doing crazy shit. But then at one point, the West was way ahead of the ball game.
Yeah.
The Chinese were like, whatever. We
Yeah.
got them all fucked up on opioids.
Yeah, dude.
And then somehow we let them go from that to at least equal and threatening world domination at this
It
point.
worked fast.
Dude, somebody fucked up somewhere.
I think we'll be China by the end of our lives.
I'm cool with being Chinese as
don't mind.
long as I, have a decent job and,
Yeah.
mail
you're
order bride.
You're gonna be working.
I get a Shih Tzu.
They're gonna make
Yeah.
sure you're working.
Yeah, if there's anything. There's going to be white labor camps. It's going to be like the reverse American South.
That would
It's
be fun.
terrifying. Yeah.
In like a existential sense, not in like a lived
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. In a lived sense, it would be our worst fucking nightmare
Yeah.
of all time.
Although they'd probably let us have
Some
opium.
Chinese guys fucking screaming at you.
Dude, I regularly think if I were to go full back onto like one drug and I was just to be like, I don't care about withdrawals, I don't care about addiction, whatever, probably opium.
Well, you take kratom.
It's not even close to as good.
Oh, because it's an opioid and not opium.
Yeah, actual opium is a mix of codeine and morphine with a little bit of these two stimulating opioids as well.
Because it's all from the poppy plant.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just, it lasts like 12 hours, and it's incredible.
Is it just because of the functionality? Because I've heard you tell me that it's not the most euphoric drug that you've taken.
No, it's not the most euphoric drug, but it's in terms of like, it's functional like kratom.
Right. You can't take MDMA all the time.
Exactly. But you could take opium every
What about
day.
ketamine?
Not really. You can't function the same way.
I wouldn't think that opium is that functional.
It's kratom. It's just a stronger, more euphoric kratom.
Yeah, but the minute that kratom starts to get strong and euphoric, it starts to get a little non-functional. Like, I
Yeah.
couldn't bartend fucked up on opium.
The equivalent, say we took an eighth of kratom earlier.
Yeah.
If I took an eighth of opium, or the equivalent amount of opium for the amount of like functionality I have right now, it would be the same thing, but I would have almost this like haze around the peripherals of like, oh, it's just like a perfect day. Like your mind is in just bliss,
Yeah.
but you're no less functional. at the same dosage.
It's
You're
hard
just
to
more
imagine that it would be
blissful.
no less functional.
And you might not give as much of a fuck.
Right.
But, like,
you
I
might
used
be a little
to-
loosey-goosey with your decisions.
Yeah, I sometimes took poppy CT before class, though. And then, like, walking home from class, I would just be, like, walking through the village. And I would just look around and just be like,
Oi.
this is an actual perfect day. Like, I am happy as a clam. I'm going to go pick up a Slurpee and watch The Simpsons for 8 hours and smoke spliffs on my futon.
A Slurpee? How old were you?
I was 20. 19.
Okay. What flavor is Slurpee, though?
Often I did a suicide. Becca got me into, like, mixing various flavors and, like, layers.
You guys were so fucking degenerate.
Dude, it was so great.
You
We
were
would do
white trash.
We would
back
do
in the
opium
day.
together and just eat Slurpees.
Jesus
and
Christ. What is this, Alabama?
We get
What
sour,
are we doing here?
sour straws. and-
Yeah, go vote for J.D. Vance while you're at it.
We'd smoke Marlboro Reds
Yeah.
too.
Oh, God.
She'd take the filter out of a Marlboro Red, tear it in half, and put the half back in. Because it was like, oh, it's sort of filtered, but it's
Yeah.
also way stronger. And when you smoke on opioids, dude, nicotine on opioids is wild because it ramps it up.
Right.
Because nicotine or tobacco.
Back to recommending mixing uppers and downers. That's what this podcast is all about.
Well, dude, tobacco's an MAOI
Yeah.
in small quantity. It's a little bit of one. So, like, it takes
Interesting.
whatever's in your brain and it allows it to last longer in there. Similar
Damn.
to Focalin with dopamine.
Right.
So it's like whatever opioids are on it, it makes it a little stronger for like a couple of minutes.
What's the difference between a Slurpee and a Slushie?
The brand.
It's
Slurpee
basically
is
the same
7-Eleven. Slushy is
Oh, okay. I remember getting the Coca-Cola slushies as a kid.
amazing.
Those were good.
I loved getting that one, dude. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
At the movie theater. Dude, what's better
Those
than...
are ices.
I could have
It's an
swore I
icy.
got a fucking slushie at a movie theater one time.
It's a slushy, but it's called an icy.
Oh, they just call it an icy?
ICEE.
Got you. That's what they drink down south. Ices.
No, that's what they smoke down south. Icy.
What's better than being a kid
Nothing.
in a movie theater with a fucking popcorn or slushy, dude?
Dude.
Heaven.
You ever buy snacks at a gas station on the way or something?
Yeah, and you hide them.
Yup.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I used to always get Rolos. Dude, I had a really big Rolo
Rolls were
phase.
good. I used to get what were those thin chocolate things with like all the white dots on top?
Oh, snow caps.
But there's another name for them.
Heavily overrated.
But if you get ones that are like really dark chocolate,
Mm.
but you didn't like dark chocolate as a kid.
I liked dark, not as a kid. I mean,
Yeah.
I
You were
kind of
more of a
liked
true.
it.
I came out of the womb like 30 years old. And now
Dude,
I
I've-
act like I'm 140.
I've got a bit. That's sort of the premise of right now
Yeah.
too. I feel the same way, dude. I've always wanted to be like this age where I'm like, I'm a full adult. I don't care about fucking anything. I don't care about.
Yeah,
It's kind of like when I was a kid, I hated trends and shit.
right.
I never.
But at
got
the
it.
same time, all we want to do is like smoke weed and do kratom and listen to reggae music. So it's
Isn't
like,
that the key to life?
that is where wisdom would lead you.
You'd think.
You know, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, behind closed doors, they're probably just like playing with trains and getting wine drunk. Like they're probably they were probably just reconnecting with their childhood spirit. I don't
Well,
know
they
why I
were-
said playing with trains did not exist back then.
They were drinking and fucking little boys, so it's kind of their version.
Whoa.
It's their version of living it up.
I don't know about them specifically.
Well, I don't know about Epictetus. I hope I'm not
Yeah.
disparaging the name of Epictetus.
How dare you? You better not.
Doesn't that sound? I always thought that sounded like a gamer tag. Epictetus.
It does.
It's like Big Chongus.
He's one of the best, man.
Big Chungus.
He's the best stoic for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, Aurelius is pretty good, but
Yeah, well, Aurelius wouldn't have been Aurelius without. I mean, Epictetus was one of the early ones.
was he Greek?
He was Greek,
That's the Epictetus.
and
of
he was
course.
a slave for most of his life. Slave to a
Yes.
brutal master.
Yeah.
And he didn't escape until he was pretty old, but then he went on to write many books. And
Is this
be-
Epictetus or my ex?
Yeah.
Slave to a cruel master.
Yeah. That's your ex's gamer tag. Yeah. The great Epictetus.
Very surprisingly flat for Epictetus.
Yeah, dude. Epictetus was a real one. He was really about reducing suffering, because when you're getting
He was
whipped
really
all
about
day,
reducing
right.
pollution. Sorry, that's where my brain went.
You really gotta go full stoic Buddhist to not just want to fucking kill yourself if you're a slave for most of your life. That's what it all comes back to, man. Victor Hugo and Elie Wiesel.
Yeah.
People that survive tough things and are able to find an inner peace and happiness nonetheless.
My favorite Stoic is Kunta Kinte. from Roots.
Surviving, brutal slavery.
Yeah. What were you just saying?
I don't know, man. I'm just fucking running my mouth.
That's fair, but it made me think of something.
How, life is just, the key to life is just suffering gracefully at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it kind of is. I mean, I'm at this place now where I'm like, what do I do with my life if I'm not going to have kids? And, like, stand-up is a given, but...
Right. You can't drink slushies as an adult if you don't have children.
Yeah, but I'm more thinking,
they just
like...
think you're a pedophile.
Why do I care more about longevity of life? Or should I start drinking?
Living it up.
Or should I start drinking it all the time? Because what am I living for if not to enjoy my life at the moment?
Right. Have you tried exercise?
No.
Exercise. That's where I think I'm probably going to go eventually. I'm probably going to... it's sad to say, because these people can be pretty fucking lame, but I'm not going to be pretentious about it. And I'm not going to be a meathead, but I am going to be one of those people who are like, I go for my run, I meditate,
oh, I'm sure,
I make a really healthy dinner.
It's not even about that. It's like, with the things I enjoy... I don't know. I feel like I enjoy writing and watching stuff and like all the things I enjoy. Sure, I would be healthier and have a more stable mental health if I did exercised regularly. I do push-ups and sit-ups, but that's kind of it. But it's like obviously you can be biologically happy doing all the things that meet your needs. Meditating, exercising, socializing.
But not even just meet your needs, supersede your needs. Like, you can mimic drug-like effects without drugs in many ways. Like, if you exercise enough, you can release shitloads of dopamine and end up feeling
But it's not the
high.
same. It's not the same as, like...
It's not the same as, like, crazy drugs.
Well, this is the thing. I'm not trying to just get fucked up.
Right.
The goal isn't to get high. The goal is to enjoy my life, which isn't just the high. Would I enjoy... It's not even like, I want to drink for the drunkenness.
You want to drink because you love the taste of rum.
I enjoy it, but also like I want to drink because it's a fun thing to do while I write, or while I watch something, or while I think. Right. It's the same with, I like to smoke weed all day, not because I need to be high all the time. I just like the state of mind that smoking weed puts me into.
Yeah, but the difference is that smoking weed is not going to reduce your longevity per se.
True.
Whereas alcohol can. So
True.
It's just sort of like if alcohol isn't... if you can imagine living a healthy life without alcohol, which I think should be pretty reasonable for most people who take care of themselves, and like, then it's probably not a good idea to willingly abuse it just because it adds a little something.
Yeah, but that's so many things. Like, yeah, it's a poison, but everything's fucking poison. They're like, oh, chewing gum leaches microplastics into your mouth.
Don't chew gum.
The fuck am I gonna do? I can't chew gum. I can't have rum. I can't say I cannot hum.
You can do thousands of things.
I am a bum. I have no tums. Sorry.
Eat steak and rice and vegetables.
That's gonna kill you too. Steak?
Not in moderation.
Rum won't kill you in moderation.
Then drink it in moderation. That's not what you said, though. You said, I'm considering just drinking all the time.
Yeah, I know. But
what else is the point of life?
I don't mean all the time.
I just mean 3 glasses of rum a day.
Well, that's not all the time. It's the evening. That's the evening.
Yeah.
What, am I supposed to fucking be bored all the time?
If you listen to Huberman, you're not supposed to have more than 2 drinks a week.
You're not supposed to have any drinks at all. They're like, no matter what,
you can have 2 drinks a week, okay?
No, I can't.
Savor those 2 drinks.
He pulls this bullshit out of his ass. He doesn't know that 2 drinks is totally benign for everyone. Yeah. This dude's fucking... I'm tired of him saying Kratom's bad.
His superiority complex, yeah. You lost me at saying Kratom was bad.
You really lost me there. Well, you want to fucking wrap this shit? I think we're about at an hour now, plus whatever we recorded.
Well,
before.
we're about at an hour, but we might have to toss the first 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah,
We could try to
we'll
throw in
see.
you staring at my fine ass. Just as we throw it in the end and be like, hey, look, this is the part that you missed.
That'll
if we
be
don't
the
put it in.
opening clip, just silence. And me just peering at your ass.
Me just posing in different ways
Yeah.
with my ass cheeks showing. Like, does this make me look more peachy than usual?
Nick, I'm proud of you.
What'd you call me?
Nick?
Didn't sound like Nick
Yeah.
to me.
I think it was. Now this
Let
is
you
your
decide.
racist OCD, dude.
I got
Yeah.
ROCD.
But no, I'm proud for your. I think you're making great strides with your homosexual OCD.
Thank you. I think so too.
Yeah, you would not have flaunted your ass on camera in front of a man, a year or two ago.
I probably won't get off scot-free with doing that mentally.
Yeah.
No, I still get the thought sometimes, you're like I'll jerk off and I'll watch like dude, so much of porn is the blowjob shit.
Oh yeah.
And it's like you watch
You're
it
just
long
staring
enough,
at cock.
it's
all the
just
time.
cock.
Yeah.
It's just cock. I'm just jerking off to cock.
There's nothing gayer than straight porn.
Dude, somebody came at me with this the other day at a mic, a friend of mine, and he got on after I did, and I was talking about gay OCD, and he was like, does it feel more gay to watch a guy get his dick sucked by a girl, or to watch a guy eat out a girl? Like, a guy eat out a girl, or girl suck a guy's dick. And I was like,
Great
that's
question.
the stupidest question I've ever fucking heard in my life. It's obviously a guy's dick getting sucked.
Right.
One has a guy's cock in it
Yeah.
and no pussy. The other
Right.
has a woman's face or a woman's pussy and a guy's face. I can look at a guy's face without thinking I'm gay.
Right.
It's a lot harder when I'm staring at his fat cock.
Right. But it's like stereotypically it's more masculine to like get your dick sucked than it is to like
Yeah, but it's not my dick. It's that guy's dick.
Well, you find the porn where the dick looks like your dick.
What would you
can
rather
pretend
do?
like
Would
it's
you
yours.
rather watch a woman suck a guy's dick next to you or watch a guy eat out a girl next to you?
Neither? That sounds awful.
If you had
Both
to,
of those sound awful.
they don't sound great.
Yeah.
It's not my idea of a Friday night. But what would you enjoy more if you
like,
had to do
Oh,
one?
dude, suck the clit harder, bro. You're doing great.
What would you rather see next to you? If you had to turn around and see one at dinner.
A guy eating a girl out.
Of
for
course.
Sure. Yeah, I would just look at her top half, pretend like he's not there.
Or at the very least, you catch a glimpse of her pussy and you're like, all right, that's better than cock.
Sure. Well, that's like the Ron White joke.
No, I've
About-
never heard any of his stuff, actually. I'm serious.
Really?
Yeah.
You should.
I
Ron
saw
White's got some
his
good stuff.
He did some time on Kill Tony at MSG, and I was watching that.
Ron White's the funniest of the blue collar comedy guys by far.
Yeah, sober
Yeah.
now.
But he's got a joke where it's like I forget how he sets it up, but somebody asks him like what he's like every guy's a little bit gay and I have proof. Because like if you're watching a porn, do you want to see a little dick or a big dick? And he's like, I want big throbbing like I don't know. I'm fucking butchering the joke,
Yeah.
but basically it's like, yeah, who wants to watch? You wouldn't want to watch porn with a little shrimp dick.
No, and I have, and it's not good.
Right.
Asian porn, you watch enough
It's
of
kind
it.
of gay.
I wouldn't say it's
I want
gay.
I want a big, fat, juicy cock. in
I gotta
my
be honest,
porn.
I don't think about it that much. I think
Do you just try to not look at the penis?
I try not to, but also
It's
it's
kind of
like,
hard in blowjob scenes. Well, you have a joke about that.
That was
right?
part of the HOCD joke.
Yeah.
It was like you just jerking off to like you zone out watching the blowjob part, and then when you
Right.
zone back in, you're like, oh, man, I've been watching this for a while.
Yeah.
It's like feels
I've been
pretty good.
watching cock take up 75% of my screen for the last 20 minutes.
It's a bit
Yeah.
much. And then the joke would also go into like I do this actually. It's like I try to I always watch porn on my phone, so I try to like skirt my thumb up in front of the
Same.
cock.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's degenerate.
Shockingly relatable. Every guy does this. I had no idea.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't.
You just said same.
not same to trying to block out the cock with my thumb.
Oh, maybe this is every other guy's
Yeah.
response too. They're all like same.
They're just pretending.
They're like,
Guys
I'll
are
make
just-
Nick feel straight.
Men are so fucking insecure about their sexuality,
Yeah.
their masculinity. Who gives a fuck, dude? Watch
I
a
do.
cock. Who cares?
I don't.
I've probably seen more
want to.
cocks than vaginas at this point in my life.
Great line from King of the
Sad
Hill.
to say,
It's
but-
a old lady, and she's like, "Oh, I seen a barrel of willies in my day."
That's classic. You think
So
about
good.
with all the like gangbang porn and shit. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way I've seen as many vaginas as dicks in my entire life.
I've never watched gangbang porn either, though.
not even accidentally. I'm sure there's a few.
Oh, that'll
come
help
up.
my gay OCD. Let
Right.
me have 8 cocks.
Yeah, the more the merrier. Damn.
No, that's so gay.
Yeah, it's pretty gay.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of male ass too.
Yeah. It's
Just
also like, okay, the point is that she's being degraded. There are
Right.
plenty of ways to do that with fewer cocks.
well, that's like that Alan Fitzgerald joke. Where I forget what porn star, but he's like, no, she's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Underneath.
There's a great Norm joke, too, where he's like, you first start, he's like, I'm talking about porn. And he's like, now, if anyone in the audience hasn't seen porn, internet porn, don't. And he was like, you start off and you're like, this is page 2 out of 780,000. And you're like, what is every woman a whore? And he's like, at first you're like, oh my God, I can't believe she's doing that. Then after like a week, you're like, oh, come on, you can only fit 8 cocks in your ass?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, he's like, well, you shouldn't have gotten into the business if you're a prude. Check out Norm Macdonald leaked live stand-up comedy shows from 2018 and 2019 on YouTube. It's a lot of the material from his last hour that he did on Netflix in front of a webcam, no audience because he had cancer and he was dying.
Sad.
He performed an hour of that material for the special. Same hour he worked out in front of a live audience for the 2 years prior. In addition to like 4 more hours of fucking comedy. This dude had so much fucking stuff.
Yeah, man.
And you could see several hours of unreleased and released footage in front of an actual crowd.
And it's
good.
really good.
It's some of the best stand-up I've ever seen.
Norm finished on a high note for sure.
Absolutely. It's a shame that stuff wasn't put out more.
Do you think he was doing so much towards the end because he knew he was going to die? Do you think there was a part of him that was like, I
No,
want to
he
get out as much as me, or he just had so much in the chamber?
Well, he
already?
didn't know it was getting out there. They were leaked. So the recordings, I guess you could say it's questionable ethically to even watch it because it's not material he wanted out there. But
Sure.
if you're a fan of stand-up comedy and you're not going to judge him on unfinished material,
Right.
watch the shit out of it. It's one of the most educatory stand-up experiences I've ever had.
But I feel like if he was performing in front
Educational.
of
I'm retarded.
crowds, he probably did have an intention to film a special at some point.
Oh yeah,
with that
absolutely. And he
Yeah.
was always self-proclaimed himself to be way ahead of like he says there were interviews where he was like, I do so much more stand-up than any other stand-up. I have hours of material. And he's always so obsessive and he's so picky about his stuff that before he puts out an hour, he has like 8 hours in the
Wow.
chamber.
Yeah.
So it's like whenever he'd put out a special, he would just have to like cherry pick bits that he was thinking like, okay, this one's ready, this one's ready.
Fascinating.
And it would have a theme every time too, of some sort. That he always said it should have a theme that should be unobservable to the audience, imperceivable to the audience, but a core theme.
Right.
There's this another Norm thing I love. There's this excellent Reddit post summarizing this string of tweets he had about comedy advice in 2017 or 18 or 19. And it's some of the most interesting insight into like the analysis of stand-up comedy and just into like what he considered late into his life to be the peak of comedy and what he would have done his entire career had he known that earlier. And a lot of it seems to be about perceiving the living, breathing comedy in the world that already exists, and the job of the stand-up to be just to point at something that is almost unquestionably universally funny. So it's not like the stand-up's creating anything. He's just going, look at this. And then the audience looks at it, and it is objectively funny. And they have no choice but to laugh. It's reflexive. Whereas with something that's, say, made up by the comic and is just clever, An audience almost has to choose whether or not they want to laugh at it or not, although there is still a reflexive laughter if it is very funny.
Right. Yeah, you don't get that from a lot of stand-up comics either.
No.
Willing to go deep into their own process or their own theories.
Yeah, it's a shame because so many of the best comics, they die before they really impart their knowledge.
Right. And some of them don't even want to impart their knowledge.
Yeah.
A lot of comics are pretty selfish and egotistical.
Absolutely, which is a shame because this is how an art form grows. You have people who create art and they evolve as they go through their lives as artists. And then the next generation comes and learns from where they left off and their whole career. And they say, okay, I can learn this art as well. And you pick up what they learned and then learn further yourself. And that's how you create new genres of music and everything else.
It's funny because it really goes for like all art forms, but it's so kind of, there's so many comics who will tell you like, yeah, comedy classes don't work. They're a ripoff.
Yeah.
Like, you can't teach funny.
Which is true to an extent.
But to an extent, it's like, really what that's saying is you can't teach talent.
Yeah.
Because I think that goes for all art. Like, you can teach somebody how to paint.
Well, I think it's with stand-up at least.
You can't teach someone to be a great painter.
Yes. With stand-up, the X factor, I think, is quickness. And I've heard other stand-ups say this too, is like it's speed. You can't train speed. Some people are just so reflexively quick with the way they think in a funny way that it's just, you hear something, immediately you have a retort or a joke. I'm thinking guys like Mark Norman, Jim Norton. These guys are some of the quickest comics.
I don't think that's like totally necessary for the job. I mean, it helps a lot, especially when you're getting started.
And it's not necessary. A lot of guys are just writers.
Right. I mean, it helps to be able to have crowd control and stuff, like when you really need to think on your feet. But yeah, there are comics that are way less quick on their feet, but they just have a really meticulously planned out hour of material, and they're basically just rehearsing what they've done.
And a lot of it also is like there's a natural component to just how you see the world. And a lot of people who don't have that can still do stand-up by just being like, oh, well, these are the mechanisms of comedy. But if I say something that makes them think that it's going to be this, and then I say this at the end, it's going to be a laugh.
Right. Here's the difference, though. Like, there are film schools. There are music schools. Like, there are colleges that maybe there's some college out. I'm sure there is. There's probably some college that like teaches stand-up comedy at some point. But
there are classes and such now, like actual college classes.
Think of how much of a ripoff that would be.
Oh yeah.
But with film school, it's like widely accepted.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there are all these film schools and people compete to get into them and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. How many of these people are actually going to even end up making any money at all in film, let alone be like a famous director?
It's a good point. I think it's like music in a lot of ways, where it's like music theory can benefit somebody who is an otherwise talented musician.
Yeah.
Understanding music theory can really put them a level up because they now know, okay, this is the inner workings behind what I naturally do well.
And you can teach the basics. Like, if you go to film school, you will graduate from film school knowing how to work a camera.
Yeah.
Knowing how to work Adobe Suite. If you graduate from music school, you will graduate knowing how to use your instrument, maybe knowing how to read and write music. With a lot of professions, that's all you need.
Yeah.
All you need to be an accountant, to make money off of accounting, is to know how to do accounting.
Yeah.
That's not how art works.
Yeah.
You can learn how to play the piano. Guess what? There's fucking millions of people that know how to play the piano.
Absolutely.
You're not going to make any money off of it.
Yeah.
Unless you're either insanely good at playing the piano or you're
unique.
Or you're a good songwriter.
Yeah.
If you're just some dude that knows how to play the piano, which is most people who graduate music school, like, you're not going anywhere.
Dude, I often think about this with singing because I grew up a professional singer from like 7 to 18, and I don't sing much anymore. I don't write songs anymore. I used to, but it just feels like it's like a skill I can use, but I have nowhere to use it and nothing to use it for.
Right.
It's a weird one.
You're not even going to sing on the podcast?
I might sing eventually in my act or on the podcast. Didn't we sing earlier in this?
Yeah, but will you like fake? You do funny voice.
I know. I can't.
You don't belt it out Whitney Houston
That's
style.
That's why I do comedy. I can't take myself seriously enough to be like, let me show you my talent.
But that's what you do with your comedy talent.
Yeah, because it's not serious. I mean, it's retarded.
It is less pretend. Yeah.
Like the peak of comedy is the most retarded shit in the world.
Right. You could be like Weird Al Yankovic, dude.
Yeah, people really hate
Yeah.
parody guys, though. I think it can be funny. I think parodies can be funny.
Absolutely.
But also, you quickly become the parody guy.
You want to sing us out the outro?
What do we want to sing?
Sing it in the rain.
Happy trails. I don't know the rest of it. I
I
gotta Fallout New Vegas. What the fuck is it? We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again one sunny day.
The end.
Sorry, I'm wheezing.